Shout out to those of you who joined our draft lottery live stream yesterday, powered by BetUS. If you were there, you know the disappointment was palpable. It was a very disappointing day. The Blazers were one number off from getting Cooper Flagg, just like they were one number off from getting Victor Wembanyama, and it just seemed like just another thing to torture us Blazer fans. You know, this past season, it was a good year. The Blazers win 36 games. They exceed expectations. They exceed their projected win total by about 15 wins. And what's the reward for that? Not a play-in, not any extra basketball. Instead, worse odds for the number one overall pick. And then, if that isn't bad enough in terms of the lottery absolutely screws the Blazers, where the Dallas Mavericks, the spot below the Portland Trail Blazers, they jump up and get the number one overall pick, which I've never said that the draft lottery is rigged. It's ran by an independent accounting firm. I still don't really think it's rigged, but at this point, I can't blame you if you do, because apparently if you trade away a star to the Los Angeles Lakers, you get rewarded with a number one overall pick. And that kind of pissed me off. Not only that, the San Antonio Spurs, who have gotten lucky year after year after year in the draft lottery, also get lucky once again and move up from 8 to 2. And now I think they're going to be the front runner to trade for Giannis Antetokounmpo. And for Blazer fans, this is just hit after hit after hit. When is it our turn to get lucky? I woke up today still disappointed, pretty upset. Still feeling the sting of the draft lottery, and it wasn't something where I thought the Blazers were going to move up. They had slim odds to do so, but just the fact that the Dallas Mavericks got the number one overall pick and the San Antonio Spurs got the number 2 overall pick just made it 10 times worse for me. So I was in a bad mood today. I'm still concerned about the Blazers' future. I'm still worried about their intentions to contend long term. And then we got hit with news that the Blazers are finally going to start the process of a sale. The Paul G. Allen estate, Vulcan and Co. are finally going to start the process to sell the team. And this was the perfect antidote, the perfect medicine after a rough Monday. This Tuesday is a good day, man, because I've lamented the way this team has been ran the past 5 years or so. I've lamented this ownership group. I don't like how involved Burt Cold seems to be. Joe Cronin had some comments in his exit interview a month ago talking about how the team and Burt Cold have weekly check-ins, and it was just kind of a weird comment. I don't remember the specifics of it. It's been a month, but Burt Cold, there's been rumors that he's too involved, and then the Blazers, are they really willing to spend, and do they just want to get back to an 8th seed in the playoffs? And that's what this rebuild was all about. My biggest critique of this organization has been the rebuild feels like it's kind of half-hearted, and mostly just to get back to hopefully getting a little bit of playoff revenue as an 8th seed, even though they wouldn't contend. It seemed like it was playoffs above future contention for this rebuild. I've been someone who is willing to wait it out, is willing to deal with the sting of a rebuild if the plan is long-term to contend. And that hasn't felt like the case from this ownership group. But if the team's getting sold, that doesn't matter anymore. If the team's getting sold, you've got a completely new ownership group coming in. Hopefully they would have more ambitious intentions. But at least it would just be a fresh slate. At least it would be a fresh set of hands on this organization. A new ownership group that could do things their way and maybe run the team a little bit better or do some things a little bit better. And if not, at least, we have the chance for it. I don't know, man. I'm just happy that the Blazers are finally going to get sold. I'm happy that the Blazers are going to have a new ownership group. I don't know how fast it's going to happen. I don't know when the sale is going to happen. These things are pretty complex and could take some time. But we've been sitting here wondering for almost a decade, it feels like, 6-7 years since Paul Allen passed away. We've been sitting here wondering when a sale was going to happen. There was, talk about how Jody has to sell the team. Vulcan has to sell the team, but there didn't seem to be much of a trigger on making that happen. And multi-billion dollar estates like what Paul Allen had are very complex things. I don't know much about it, but wondered when this time was going to come, and the news came today from Shams Charania, so I'm ecstatic. I'm excited to see what a new ownership group could bring to this team. We've critiqued some things Joe Cronin has done. I think this is a very important offseason for him. I think he can kind of, put to bed some of the criticisms we've had of him the past 4 years. We didn't like the Chauncey Billups extension, but hopefully he'll improve next year. But the biggest deal breaker for me with this current ownership group was it just seems like they were content with mediocrity. And I am not content with that. They seem like they were content just getting back to being a 7th or 8th seed next year. And I'm not content with that. I want this team to contend for championships long term. I've never seen any of my favorite teams ever win a championship. I've never seen the Blazers win a Western Conference Finals game. At least they've gotten there, I guess, but that's kind of a non-competitive attitude. I want to see this team actually compete and contend at the highest level. It didn't feel like that was ever going to happen under Jody Allen, Burt Cold, and Vulcan. Maybe it won't happen under a new ownership group, but at least we get a fresh set of eyes, and at least we get a new ownership group at some point. Hopefully it happens soon. I don't expect it to happen soon, but at least they're finally officially starting the process. These playoffs have been phenomenal, man. I wish the Blazers were a true contender right now because the postseason seems wide open. The playoffs, there's a level of parity to the playoffs that we haven't seen in a while. You're probably going to get the Knicks and Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals, and then you got the Timberwolves probably making it. They're up 3-1 against the Warriors. Let me know which series has surprised you most. Shout out to BetUS for the graphic. If you want to get in on the action with BetUS, use promo code YouTube150. It'll give you a 150% deposit bonus and then 125% deposit bonuses on top of that, up to $2,000 if you want to get in on playoff action. Great sports book. I don't know what series has surprised me the most. Probably the Knicks versus Celtics, because the Knicks have beaten the Celtics at full strength, and now the Celtics won't be at full strength. Hopefully Jason Tatum heals up soon. That did not look good. But let me know which series has surprised you the most out of these four. You know, it's you got the underdogs and the Knicks and Pacers winning, and you got the Nuggets and Thunder tied up at 2-2. Hopefully, in future years, when we're talking about the second round and have a graphic like this, hopefully the Blazers can be on it. And maybe a new ownership group could guide the Blazers there. I don't know. Anyway, let me know what you think of this news today. Let me know what you think about the Blazers' potential sale. Let me know if you're excited about it. Let me know your thoughts on Jody Allen, Burt Cold, and company. Shout out to BetUS. We're out of here. We'll have a live stream on Thursday going live between 9:30 and 10 p.m. Pacific time, and you bet we're going to talk about this. So make sure you tune in. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell button so you're notified whenever we drop anything or go live. Leave a like on the video for the Blazers finally selling the team. I'm out of here until next time. As always, peace out. Go Blazers.